Chuck Schumer and many other Senate Democrats are now meeting with President Biden to push for more stimulus check funding. The next round of stimulus checks could be automatically deposited into bank accounts starting next month. And this year's tax filing season is behind us. It is possible that some people who were once eligible for direct payments may not continue to be eligible for it if Congress signs off on additional relief. A growing number of Democratic lawmakers are calling for President Biden to back recurring stimulus checks in future legislation. Details about amounts or eligibility are currently being negotiated on right now. But given how negotiations transpired in the past, additional direct payments would and may have to be targeted for low to middle income households. Future payments would also likely be based on a person's most recent tax return, which for many is their 2020 return, not the 2019 return, as was the case for many in the first 3 rounds of payments. That means if people saw an increase in their income in 2020 that puts them outside of an income cap, they wouldn't receive a new payment, or at least not a full one. So far, President Biden has received 3 letters from Democratic lawmakers calling for another round of direct payments. Democrats have advocated for not just one more check, but multiple ones until the economy fully recovers. And Democratic Representative Ilhan Omar, who wrote a letter signed by more than 50 of her colleagues, has called for monthly payments of $2,000. The letter said that payments should continue until the economy recovers and should be equal for adults and dependents. 2 other letters signed by House Democrats urged President Biden to tie relief to economic conditions. If Congress were to pass a method of doling out relief known as automatic stabilizers, it would agree on what circumstances warranted that relief. Congress could enact legislation that would kickstart direct payments to certain individuals whenever employment dropped below a certain level. Payments would continue in employment until employment rose, at which point they would be automatically halted. Now here's some breaking news on President Biden's executive order. Democratic Senator Raphael Warnock said today that he'll be meeting with President Biden to push for student loan forgiveness. Warnock told The Hill, "I'm meeting with the president later today, and I'm going to push him on this issue. Everywhere I go in Georgia, students and families talk to me about the crush of student debt, and I'm focused on providing relief for families." Warnock's comments come after Politico reported last week that the senator, along with Chuck Schumer and Elizabeth Warren, had reached out to the White House on this matter. Warnock also said that Warren and Schumer will be in attendance in the meeting with President Biden. During this meeting, lawmakers will continue to push Biden to hold off temporarily on any potential action on student loans, to push for more significant action. When asked about the meeting, Warren said, "I'm urging the White House to cancel $50,000 in student loan debt because it gives the greatest return for the most folks who struggle." She added that it is an issue about what kind of America we want to build. And so far, Biden supported canceling at least $10,000 in federal student loan debt per borrower during his 2020 presidential campaign, though many in his party have called for him to wipe out the debt entirely. And according to the Washington Post, the White House has also been looking at applying limits to borrowers eligible for potential forgiveness by income.
Smith Ellis is with us. And we have brothers and sisters of labor at a minimum. The president of New Jersey's AFT, Donna Chiara, is in the house. Donna, great to see you. We also not only want to shine a spotlight, we also want to highlight an overhaul of the program that will make more New Jerseyans eligible for loan relief and forgiveness. So a one-time waiver will allow anyone who worked full-time in a job eligible for loan forgiveness going back to October of 2007. So we're now going to go back 15 years to enroll in the program, even if they were previously told that they were ineligible. And if you had a combined 10 years of public service employment, you could qualify to have your federal student loan debt canceled and your payments credited back to you. Now, to accept this waiver, you must apply by October 31st of this year and go to studentaid.gov, studentaid.gov. More than 2,500 New Jersey borrowers have had their student loans forgiven, canceling out $167 million in student loan debt, which is an average of more than $65,000 per person. Additionally, thanks to these gentlemen and their great leadership, we're working with the U.S. Department of Education to streamline the application process for New Jersey state employees to remove administrative barriers that may have either disqualified some from receiving assistance or discouraged others from applying. We're also exploring opportunities to simplify the process for local government employees. Not a ton of detail on that yet, but we're working very productively with the U.S. DOE on that. I'm hopeful that this expansion on the one hand and streamlining of the public service loan forgiveness program on the other may also spur more New Jerseyans to consider a career in public service. We need smart and dedicated individuals willing to enter public service in whatever form to keep our communities strong. And reducing the weight of college loans is a vital part of making New Jersey, at the end of the day, more affordable. The Public Service Loan Forgiveness Program is here to help reduce this weight, not only so individual borrowers can meaningfully move forward, but that through their work, our entire state can move forward as well. So it's a real treat for all of the above reasons to be here today. I mentioned him already, the gentleman to my left. It's a great honor to welcome U.S. Department of Education Undersecretary James Quall to New Jersey and to the College of New Jersey. And with that, James, over to you. Welcome.
Thank you so much, Governor. And it's great to be back in New Jersey.
The California Department of Finance said they project inflation for the 2022 fiscal year will be 7.6% higher than the year before, causing the increase. Inflation did cool on an annual basis for the first time in months. Strong consumer demand continued to keep consumer prices running near a 40-year high. And the lawmakers in California voted to increase the minimum wage to $15 an hour in 2016, but the increase was phased in over several years. The minimum wage is currently $15 an hour for companies with 25 or more workers. The lawmakers in Congress have to send out a $1,000 stimulus check to every person that is experiencing the financial difficulties right now. More crisis relief aid will be used to fund this new plan. Representative Jim Banks, who represents Indiana's 3rd Congressional District, told reporters this week that the near $40 billion in aid that has been approved by the House of Representatives could be used to give Americans $1,000 each. The representative has stated that $1,000 for every single American is the equivalent of $40 billion. The IRS reported that in its progress update for fiscal year 2021, they had paid out more than $800 billion to people across the 3 stimulus checks in 2020 and 2021. And according to AAA, while unemployment is low at just 3.6% in April, inflation remains at a near 40-year high and stood at 8.3% in April. While gas prices reached new record highs this week and stood at an average of more than $4.45 per gallon on Friday. Delaware lawmakers are trying to address the rising cost of living in their state. The plan, known as the 2022 Delaware Relief Rebate Program, includes a one-off $300 check to be sent out to anyone who filed a 2020 tax return in the state, with this money expected to hit the letter boxes by the end of the month. In a statement, the governor of Delaware said the relief is intended to help people in Delaware that are facing higher prices at the grocery store and gas pump. And the state of Delaware is working hard to issue the $300 one-time rebate checks to qualifying taxpayers by the end of May 2022. Now, the Transportation Secretary said that the nationwide shortage of baby formula has the attention on the highest levels of the Biden administration.